So it's like, what's going to happen over this next? Yeah,
what
the
would you rather
schedule is
have?
going to be big.
Oh, for sure. I mean, Fields does have some good matchups coming up, so hopefully he can take advantage. But I mean, that kind of leads us into the Bears if you want to go into that.
All right, let's go into the Bears, and I mean, we're already at 23 minutes, by the way. So we're gonna keep this next segment a little bit shorter because we've already hinted on it and we've talked about some of the things that are going on here. But here's what's going on with the Bears, in my opinion. You gotta fire everybody. You gotta fire everybody, and the problem is they won't. Uncle Jay says it all the time. They're cheap. The thing is, they should have got Harbaugh years ago. Here's how you could fix this. This year, right now, even if you fire Luke Getsy, that's just moving the deck chairs on the Titanic. That's not doing anything. This thing's going down regardless if you fire Getsy this week after a Justin Fields tragedy where you're all of a sudden, Bruce, in a position where, oh my fucking A. And now let's put you in that position. End of this week, it's a bad day in Denver. They fire Getsy. They leave him in Denver. What are you doing?
I'm playing Fields next week.
Against Washington?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And the game after that, and the game after that, and the game after that.
I think you are, because guess what happens? The guy who's behind Getsy, who's been watching Getsy just like give Fields these stupid plays, is like, okay, how about I listen to fucking social media and I start putting some RPOs in there? How about I start listening to the guys on radio who know what the fuck they're talking about, like Tom Waddle and Olin Kreutz, who won football games before, and maybe implement some of the Buffalo-style offense. Maybe look at the Philadelphia-style offense. Yeah, you didn't implement any of it. You didn't do any of the installs, but it's time to throw all that shit out and start anew, because all that shit's garbage. It's not playing to Justin Fields' strengths. I heard it from Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield told us the secret. Nobody's paying attention.
Nope.
Baker Mayfield said after the game where they beat the shit out of the Bears, he said, "This is my first OC in 8 offensive coordinators that I feel like he actually understands my strengths and weaknesses." He threw for 300 against the Bears. Baker Mayfield, guy who's been traded from 4 different teams. Meanwhile, we have Justin Fields, who's reaching upon 10,000 hours. He's supposed to be getting to the point where he's close to being a master at his craft. But we're not seeing the master at his craft. In fact, we're seeing weird breakdowns. We're seeing him think too much. And here's where I think that Fields can catch it back. Fields has been doing this, guys. I think that a lot of people forget that about this, the athlete. This guy has not been playing football since last season. He's not been playing football since 3 seasons ago. This guy has been playing football since he's 12 years old. He's been playing quarterback since he's been 14. He's been slinging it on a high level, battling out with Trevor Lawrence for honors since he was 16 years old. Look it up. They were going back and forth. Trevor Lawrence versus Justin all throughout their childhood. This guy knows adversity. Right now, he's up against it. He's up against the hardest shit he's ever had to go against. Half of the city wants him gone. Half of the city's still rooting for him because they think he's got talent. Half the city thinks that the coach is the problem. And he said it in a press conference. He said it. He said what we're all thinking. And we're all seeing it. We're all seeing the slow processing. Is the slow processing a product of the coaching, the extra coaching, the trying to coach mechanics and certain techniques into him instead of playing to his strengths, trying to make him into a Patrick Mahomes instead of a Josh Allen? I think that the Bears coaches got to take a hard look at themselves and not just look at Justin as an ideal quarterback, but as a quarterback that can help them win, because he's not an ideal quarterback. The ideal quarterback does not exist in the NFL beyond Patrick Mahomes. He is literally leaps and bounds above. There's 1 and 2, and Patrick Mahomes is so far above number 2. It's scary. It's scary. That's how good Patrick Mahomes is. But nobody has Patrick Mahomes. He could have been a Bear, by the way. We listened to a podcast. He could have been a Bear. And it crushes me.
I think it would have been sad for the NFL.
You think he wouldn't have existed?
If Mahomes went to the Bears. I mean, really.
I agree. They don't have the system in place to make success happen. They don't have the system.
And look at the coaching staff.
They could have hired Andy Reid in 2012, Bruce. They could have hired him in 2012. Instead, they hired Tressman.
Look at the coaching staffs of mobile quarterbacks and successful quarterbacks. Obviously, Andy Reid, one of the best offensive minds in the game. Okay. You have John Harbaugh, who had coaching staff who coached mobile quarterbacks to Pro Bowls in their history. Okay. Josh Allen, I mean, yeah, he needed to develop a little bit, but what did that coaching staff do? They developed him. Okay. And you look at Jalen Hurts. Okay. It was the coaching staff of, I believe, like Doug Peterson when he was there, and like another coach, and they all had history with mobile quarterbacks. Now, what kind of history do the Bears have? They all have pocket passers. And then they go draft Justin Fields.
Getsy is a pocket passer out of Aaron Rodgers' tree. Aaron Rodgers is typically a pocket passer. I mean, he can get flushed out and be fine. He's got that skill, but he's a pocket passer, and that's what Getsy is.
Yep.
Give me a Shanahan. Give me a Shanahan tree.
You go out and you get Justin Fields. Okay. Awesome. But, okay, two things. One thing is, in that great interview, by the way, that was awesome that you shared that. But within that, and
can you
within that interview,
mention it? What that is for everybody who's doesn't know what you're talking about?
Yeah, it was an interview with, let's see, the player development coach. It was like years ago, right?
Yeah, it was the player development coach from 2018 to 2022.
So exactly when they drafted Justin Fields, just the draft process of getting Justin Fields and
Josh Lucas. Lucas was his name.
Yes, Josh Lucas. Yep. What their process was in going about getting Fields. So two things. One thing is, he says that there is a ton of value in college reps, right? Okay, so given that, the last two guys that have been drafted by the Bears as quarterback, Mitch Trubisky and Justin Fields, they have a combined 3 years of starting college games. 3 years. Mitch for 1, Justin for 2. He even talked about Justin Fields at Ohio State. You know how Ohio State is, who they play, what competition they face each year.
That counts. It counts so huge in the development of these guys.
It is so huge. And the quality that they play and the talent level that they have around them. Yes, it worked out for Mahomes from Texas Tech. But when you draft a mobile quarterback and you talk about how you like this guy so much because he can extend plays, he can get first downs with his legs, but you're not using that. You're not using his skill set during games. I mean, the first 3 games, it is unbelievable. I know within the first 2 games, he had like 4 designed runs. 4. I mean, what are we doing? Like, are we trying to evaluate him as as a passer,
That would make sense, wouldn't it? Because
like,
you're trying to see what he could do. But Bruce, here's the thing. He doesn't play running back. He plays quarterback. And the position of quarterback, you can be a runner and you can have success. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to toss that pigskin. And he used to be able to do it. What has happened in his development that has stifled him and reduced some of this playmaking ability that the deep throws that we used to see in Ohio State? We haven't been seeing these. And that's why I feel like we got DJ Moore. We got to see it.
This goes right into another point that I wanted to bring up was his air yards per attempt. I imagine that you have like some idea of like what that means, but I mean, just to explain it, like that's the amount of yards per attempt that he is throwing. So if he throws 5 yards to the receiver, that's 5 air yards. And then as an average, guess where that number is for this season? It is around the Zach Wilson level. Air yards. Even in the previous game to the Chiefs game, the announcer in the third quarter even said, oh, wow, even a rare deep shot to DJ Moore. And there was a ball that he threw against the Chiefs to DJ Moore that was right on the money. It probably could not have been thrown better downfield. Moore just didn't come up with it. But that's what you have to do. I don't understand the just dink and dunk and the play calling of even if you go back like to his interceptions and to his like his sacks, just a really quick like 2 or 3 examples. So one example was they threw a screen from the 6-yard line, which number one, you don't have any room to work with to get the screen out. If you allow all of the defensive line, that's pretty much that's what a screen is. Like you kind of allow the defensive lineman to come through and then you get the running back out. But if you don't have any room to work with, like you don't have the room to back up, then like what are we doing? And then
everybody always knows it's coming, Bruce. They always know the fucking screen pass is coming from the Bears.
And the other example was just a 3rd and 10. Yeah, I mean, yes, it wasn't a good throw trying to get the first down, but you're not setting him up for success, and that's where you're seeing more of the mistakes. But in my opinion, if you were getting 3 to 4 yards like on first down, or even like getting to a 3rd and 3, you'd see a lot less of these errors. That's just me.
He's got Denver this week, Washington next, Minnesota. The schedule looks good for Justin Fields. I mean, for the Bears. The Bears got at least the next 4 games. These are winnable games. They're not against the greatest teams in the league. I mean, but
they got to figure something
Tampa
out.
Bay's not the greatest team in the league. Green Bay's not the best team in the league. They struggled against these guys. It's not just Justin. It's not just the offense. This defense. There's not a single guy in this entire roster that is in the top 3 of his positions in the NFL. There's no guy that you circle every week and you're like, that's the guy I got to stop. It used to be Justin at a certain point last season, last few games, last 10 games, they were like, okay, Justin's their most dangerous player. What do we do to stop him? This season, who's our most dangerous player? Roshan Johnson?
I mean, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
is there
right
a guy
now
in defense
it's
I'm missing? No, they're the
No.
worst defense in the league. They're 25 points over 13 losses in a row, NFL record set, and it's continuing. And they still haven't fired the coach. You know what Denver did last year? They fired that guy's ass. Sent him back into New York Jets. Had to go link up with Aaron Rodgers so he could touch penises and feel better about himself again. the fucking Wonder Twins out there. Meanwhile, the Bears, just pathetic. Just can't fucking get out of their own way. Too afraid to hire a big dick coach like a Jim Harbaugh.
Yep, and I mean, you talk about a defensive-minded head coach, and then you're giving up, 25? Yeah, like you said, 25 points the last 13 games. I mean, like, what do you expect? What do you, like, really, what do you expect from Fields if, one, he's always down in the game? His offensive line obviously could be better, and the coaching staff isn't setting him up for success. What do you do?
I was looking at this. Eberflus had his defenses in 3 top 10 rankings during his 4 seasons as DC over at Indy. What is going on over here? When he's play calling, these blitzes, these play decisions, they're getting decimated. They're not filling gaps. It's just easy to take advantage. And then these new offenses are coming, Bruce. These new offenses are fun to watch with these movements before the line. The Bears have none of that. They have none of this. It's insane.
Yeah, I am so glad you brought that up. That'll be like my last thing is if you go back and watch the highlights of the games, or even I can share, there's a Chase. I know he wasn't like obviously on Mahomes or Allen or Hurts or anything like that, but Chase Daniel did a like a quarterback.
Oh, I saw that
film review.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and if you go back, I'll share it in the chat. If you see the receivers and the routes that they're running, one, just the most basic routes ever, and there's no movement before the snap, and there's no bunching of formations. There's nothing. And if you're looking at the receivers and what Fields is looking at, there is nobody open. There's nobody open.
They're not getting off the line. They don't, dude. They've quit. I don't know if they quit on Fields or something. Like there's this weird disconnect where even DJ Moore, who's just new to this team, this guy should not be burnt out yet. Like he's 3 games into his tenure, and I feel like it looks like this guy's like a wounded veteran. Like he can barely move for Justin to get open for him. This guy's supposed to be a top 12 receiver in the league.
They're just getting no separation.
Bruce, they spent a number 1 on DJ Moore. He does not look like a first overall wide receiver.
You know what? They should have gotten Calvin Ridley. My goodness.
That looks like it would have been better. It would have been cheaper as well too. But they got rid of his brother. You know what they could have done? They could have kept his little brother to help lure Calvin here, but they didn't. They blew it. The Bears are a poorly run organization from start to finish. When I heard a podcast with Urlacher and Cutler, they were just like, it explained it. But that's neither here nor there.